Jerry Jones also last night, amid that scrum of reporters, was asked whether or not McCarthy has lost the locker room. Here are some more pearls of wisdom or otherwise from Jerry Jones.
That lost the locker room. I remember John Madden and Al Davis called me after we won one game the very first year, and he said, well, at least you didn't lose the team or the locker room. I said, well, what's that? How do you lose a team? You misplace them on the road or what? And I'm not trying to be cute here, but they say, well, you didn't lose it. Well, I can tell you in there right now with kind of careers a bunch of those guys have, kind of the prospects of their futures, the competitors they are. I don't worry 1 ounce about losing anything as far as in the family of losing a team.
You know, if I was a Cowboys fan right now, I would burn my card. I would just give up. I really would. That was an unacceptable answer to the question. He was being cute. Anytime anybody says I didn't mean to be cute, they were trying to be cute and it didn't land. His whole thing about where did we misplace the locker room? Is it, is it my other pair of pants? No, it's a substantive question. It's a real question. Are the players listening? Is the message getting through? Are they responding? Is it working? Do you care? Jerry, do you care? That's ultimately the bottom line. He doesn't care, in my assessment, about those nuances of what it takes to win football games. This is broader brush. Come look at my stadium. Come spend your money on my overpriced stale popcorn. And I had that experience at Super Bowl 45. $15 for a crappy bucket of stale popcorn. It's all about, and this goes back to what we were talking about earlier, and this is why it has to gall him, or at least it should gall him, that they're the second best team in Texas. In 2008, he was being interviewed by the LA Times, and he was hyping up this new stadium. And the Texans came up, and he said, as to Houston and the Texans, the Cowboys have never been about checkered tablecloths and boots and hats. They've been about glitz and glitter. Leave the other stuff to the Houston Texans. That was 2008, and that attitude is still there. And you just got your ass kicked by that checkered tablecloth, boots and hat team, Jerry. And what are you going to do about it? And you know what he's going to do about it, Devin? He's going to go count his money. That's what he's going to do about it.
I mean, you said it. Like, yeah, you lose Monday night, but we rewind the time. What was that, Friday night? Friday night, you're sitting there and your stadium is packed. Everyone's come out to watch one of the best fights when you look at Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano, two females fighting, elite fight. But the main event that people really paid to come see was a joke. I mean, you made a lot of money, but the fight was like, we watched one of the all-time greats, 58 years old, in a boxing match. It was ridiculous. But as I watched Jerry Jones in that soundbite, and they asked him a question that is real. Like when your team's losing, and I know Micah Parsons, I don't think he was intentionally trying to take a shot at Mike McCarthy when he talked about, he really cares about guys like Zach Martin who have been Cowboys their whole career. Like, I think he was more trying to talk about his relationship and how he views Zach Martin. But when you hear things like that, like, it's a reasonable question to say, hey, do you think the guys in the locker room are listening? And I felt like he hit the competitive nature of the guys in the locker room. Like, I don't think that's a question mark. I think the guys who get to the NFL, they have this competitive level, and they're going to always go out and compete and play hard. But there's a trust in, do you believe in your coach? There's a factor of when the game plan goes in Wednesday morning and you're going over things Wednesday for first and second down, and then Thursday you put in your third down package, and then Friday it's the red zone and other key situations. You can be a competitor, but if I don't believe in what this coach is telling me on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I'm sitting in a meeting and he's telling me, hey, when I'm a defensive end, I got to stay outside. When we get these looks, I got to stay outside the two tight ends because, hey, we're going to have the defensive tackle coming and two linebackers filling the gap inside me. If I hear that and I'm like, man, coach don't know what he's talking about, and I go in and I split the two tight ends and I decide to go inside and the ball bounces outside, That's what we're talking about. Do they believe in what's being coached? Do they believe in the morning message that comes in and says, hey, this is how we win this football game. We got to execute these 3 things, and this is how we'll win. If they don't believe in that, then, like, you're just wasting your time. Like, yeah, those guys are going to go play hard. I talk to my brother all the time. He talks about being in Cleveland on the 0-16 team. Like, those guys competed hard. If you look up, there were a lot of good players on that Cleveland Browns team that left and went other places. Hit my brother, Josh Gordon, Danny Shelton. They came on the Patriots the next year, played significant roles in a Super Bowl winning team. Like, there were other good players on that team. They just didn't believe in what was being coached. They didn't show up and do those things. So that, to me, is a hard thing. And you talked about being accountable as a coach. I think about guys like Sean Payton. You said it. Bill Belichick for me. Mike Tomlin. These coaches that even when you win a game, I remember we beat the Houston Texans in a playoff game, and we're all celebrating, and you come in, and not even the next day, we come in the locker room. Everybody's high-fiving. The crafts are down there, so ownership's in there, and we're advancing into the playoffs. We're advancing to the conference championship of the playoffs, like where everybody wants to be. Bill comes in, he goes, guys, winning in the NFL, let alone winning a playoff game, I mean, congratulations. But I'm just telling you, if we play this way next week, it will be the end of our season. And I remember sitting there being like, well, damn, Bill, what happened to celebrating a win at least for the night, 24 hours? No, like it was right then and there. He said to us, hey, from me being a head coach for all these years and coaching for 40 years, like this play, how we're playing, we won't win next week because the team we're playing, they're going to be ready to go. They just won a playoff game too. They're going to beat us. And the next day, he just came back with actual proof. Plays in the game, all of those things add up. So the next time we took the field as a team, there was a sense of urgency because we believed that what Coach was telling us was true, that if we didn't change how we played, we were going to lose that game. That was going to be the end of our season. So I think that is one of the key things, and we see those moments sometimes behind the scenes with some of these great coaches of how they come, and it's not this big motivational speech. It's just the truth. Like, I'm telling you guys the hard truth so that when we take the field, you know what to expect. And if you listen, we'll have a shot. But if you think that I'm BSing you, we've watched teams go out there and get embarrassed, and you need that. You need that authenticity as a player. When you talking to your head coach, you need them to just be real. And last point, we heard Thomas Brown say that Maria Taylor told us her relationship with him on Sunday. She said when he took over the Carolina Panthers, he was worried about feelings. He was trying to be too nice. He took that Bears team in, taking over as offensive coordinator, and he said, hey, I'm going to hold everyone accountable. I'm going to coach you guys hard. And they didn't win, but we saw a dramatic difference in that offense because of that approach. You say it all the time. Players like to be coached. They want to be coached. You have to go coach them.
That's an excellent point. And, you know, it's funny. I've got very mixed feelings at best about Bill Belichick using these different media platforms to settle scores and lay the foundation so he'll have maximum options next year because everything he does is strategic. But, folks, if your team is going to be looking for a coach, listen to this stuff that Devin is saying. You got to have the right players, and that's where the flaw was late in Belichick's run in New England, especially after Tom Brady left. But week in and week out, game in and game out, saying the right thing, being willing to be a jerk, because being a jerk is one of the things you have to be sometimes to lead to victory. Instead of standing up there saying we deserve to win, going in the back room and kicking butt and telling guys when they're celebrating, you know, knocking the champagne glass out of their hand and telling them to get their ass back to work. It reminds me, and it spilled over to Tom Brady. I remember the stories from the Buccaneers locker room after they won the NFC Championship. There's a guy in the locker room crying because he's going to the Super Bowl. And Brady yelled at him, "We're not done yet. We still got another game to win." Devin White complaining he didn't make it to the Pro Bowl. Brady giving him shit. We don't care about the Pro Bowl. You care about the Pro Bowl? What's wrong with you? We care about the Super Bowl. So you got to have that because you're competing with 31 other teams that ostensibly have the same objective. The only way you work things to your benefit is to not just want it more or act like you deserve it more. I'm never going to let that go with McCarthy, ever. you have to go out and work your ass off even harder to get it because you're competing with everyone else that wants or at least thinks they deserve the same thing. Okay, we need to take a break because there's still a couple things I want to get to from last night. And this is one of those days where I think we can probably jam some more stuff into and pull more stuff out of last night's game, especially as it relates to something that had nothing to do with the game itself. We'll talk about that and more when PFT Live, presented by Accenture, continues right after this. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.